I have just one thing to say. We are so back. So I haven't uploaded a video on the development of PUG in a minute, like 2-ish months, and I'm clearly no longer on schedule to release it when I said I would. My bad. What can you do? Well, right? What can you do about it? Who cares? So PUG has been updated quite a bit, and I'm going to go over that, but I kind of want to talk about burnout real quick. Not in like a cringe YouTube video, like, I'm giving up, it's so over kind of way, but more of a like, okay, let's find a balance to actually let you develop the game. So basically what happened is that I'd scheduled out making the game so that I would be spending a ton of time doing 3D modeling and visuals for like weeks on end, and that's like only thing I was going to do, and I wasn't going to do any coding for a while. Now, to be honest, I do like all aspects of game development. It's a fun hobby for me. However, there are some parts that I find significantly more difficult to do. That being 3D. I'm not good at it. I try my best, and I think I could be good at it, but it's going to take a long time. I got really burnt out with it because I'm not super great at like modeling and texturing and everything like that, and when I don't see results that I like, it's going to start getting pretty tiring to work on. And I worked on the model for the gun quite a bit, and it got to the point of animating it. I can even show what it looked like here. The issue that I was struggling with, though, was the animation. So I asked one of my friends who's worked in 3D in the games industry for a while in the past. It was my friend's dad specifically, and he gave me some great advice and offered to model the gun for me, and he did. Which here it is, pretty sweet, but I can't really use the model because the entire point of this video series and, PUG is that I'd be doing everything myself. Anyways, he recommended that I switch from Maya to Blender, so I decided I was going to do that. I think this is the right choice to make, but it kind of fried me, to be honest. I was already feeling kind of disappointed with the gun model I had made, and then I had to start all over in a program I didn't really know how to use, and honestly, I just started getting pissed off. Like whenever I started working on it, I was just kind of pissed off. I was in a bad mood. I was like, screw this game, it sucks. And it was also literally the week of Christmas, so I decided to take a break. It was totally worth taking the break. I don't regret taking it at all. During the time, I really tried to focus on pretty important things like chillaxing and farting around. And let's just say your boy got it done efficiently. There's a reason that they call me that white boy, okay? Nobody farts around like me. Nobody chills like me. It's crazy. But, I mean, it's not like I was just resting on my laurels the entire time. That much. I was also working on learning Blender and doing the donut and all that. Classic game dev that gives up after 2 devlogs type stuff. I don't really have that many excuses. I mean, you guys have seen me at the club, so you already know what's going on. But there's quite a few days that I didn't really write in my diary about what I was doing because I didn't think that the work being done mattered. But who cares? We're back. So PUG development is back in swing. I started working on it again, and I'm feeling pretty much addicted to the hashtag grind once more. PUG is like my crack, and developing it is my Sigma grind set. So let's talk about what I did. December 19th, 2024, I got the gun model finished, gun textures created, the retopo done, and the UV unwrap done. So I finished all the gun today, and it seems pretty alright to me. It took forever, and I did so much stuff wrong. I took a class for this too, but I haven't really done much modeling and texturing since then, so it all got kind of lost. My initial model definitely needed to be retopoed. It was just a little too crazy. I was able to record a good amount of the retopoing though, so that's cool. I hate the textures I made, and I'm gonna have to redo all of that, but I'll do that later on once I have a little more practice. Overall, this took multiple days, but there wasn't much to write about, so I hope it looks decent. LOL. So this was literally the last thing I did before I gave up. Well, not gave up, before I took my break. I kind of pooped the bed at this point. So the next devlog is in February 4th, 2025. We are so back. adjusted the speed of the PUG, added DevNote files to the game, made a test forest, made a basic tree in Blender, and I figured out how to import from Blender to Godot, which is probably going to be useful. We are so back, you guys. I lost my mojo for PUG for a little while. Basically, I decided to switch from Maya to Blender, and I got all out of sorts with it, but I'm sure you've already heard about that from this video. Today, it was relatively simple, yet it revealed a lot of problems with the game. Problems which I'm going to start working on as soon as possible. For one, I actually have no clue how the game's going to play, so I decided to follow some advice I had heard from a Blargus video, or Blargus, something like that. Here's the guy's channel. And make a gameplay garden. I did this by making a large plane in a forest. I threw the character into it and the PUG, and I should have done this forever ago, to be honest. I learned quite a bit. For one thing, I immediately learned that the PUG was way too fast, like absurd amounts of fast. It was scary. It was very scary. It actually, I got jump scared quite a bit, but it wasn't fair in the slightest, and I was like, this isn't actually that fun. So I made him the same speed as the player rather than like faster. I think it was at 25 speed for the PUG when he chased you initially, and you could run at 20. So, you know, that was a little not great. I also figured out that the PUG needs better pathfinding. It still does, but that is not new, to be honest. Another thing that I learned is that I'm bad at making forests, because you could see through way too much. So in other words, I'm gonna try and like add fog in or make the render distance slower. I also tore up some Blender, like a boss. Swag, etc. I made a tree and did some swag, epic. Wow, I'm saying swag a lot in this. I wrote swag many times in this script. Did some swag billboarding with the leaves, and I think it looks pretty tight. I will definitely be working more on the visuals of it all. Hopefully I can flesh out the mechanics of the game pretty good in the upcoming bit. I also referenced a tutorial. Here it is. Shout out to this individual. I am just looking at a link right now, so I don't know who made it, but I know who made it because I have the link. February 5th, 2025. I made the PUG change color to show what state it's in, added an iron sight to the gun, added ADSing, added menus, made the menu diegetic through like a phone, made it so you can use the phone without losing other controls, and made it so the phone gets put away when aiming. Okay, I got a ton of work done today. First off, it was hard to tell what state the PUG was in, and I kind of need to know that, so I made it so that it changes colors to help me understand what's happening, like if it's running away or not. Second, I started working on adding ADSing, or aim down sights, I guess. It's just aiming, guys, come on. It's not that hard to get to figure out. Okay, pal. This was not that hard to do at all. Shout out to Garbage. After that, I decided to work on the menu system because I was getting real tired of having to Alt F4 to close the game every single time I played. Initially, I just added a menu to the corner, but I wanted to make it so that the player stayed playing the game in real time when it was paused, so I did that. It was not hard. It takes more effort to pause the game. Then I had to mess with some of the options in the editor to make sure that moving the mouse was still available when you had the menu up, because, you know, that's part of the point. What I ended up doing was making it so you can control the buttons on the phone with Q and E and then select them using the space bar. It works pretty well, and like it still needed to be diegetic at this point because the menu was just like basically a pause menu but didn't pause anything. So making the menus diegetic was probably the most difficult part because that's kind of not super often done in 3D the way I wanted to, and when it is, it typically uses the mouse to select stuff, which I didn't want to do. I did end up learning about sub-viewports, which was really the key to get it all done. However, when I put the menus in the sub-viewport, it didn't really work like I needed to because it was like just showing me a picture of the menu. Eventually though, I figured out how to do it using the push input function, so that really helped me get this all done. Then once I had everything working on its own, I started adding in some toggles just to turn the menu on and off, pull the phone up and put it away, and like aiming, doing it all separately, so like if you aim while the phone's out, it puts the phone away. Got it all the way I wanted, which I'm pretty happy with. So now the game works. You can pull up the menu, shoot while holding the menu, but when you aim while holding the menu, the phone gets put away and the menu closed. It was honestly a pain to deal with, but I'm pretty happy with the results, so we ball. I have 5 tutorials linked here, and I don't know that I actually really used them. I think I just looked at them a little bit, but you know what? Shout out to this individual. this video and the person that made it, the person that created this other video and this video as well. I didn't really use much from all of them, but I mostly used the documentation, but hey, I did reference them at some points, so shouts out like a boss. Okay. February 6th and 7th, 2025. I reorganized a bunch of the code. I tried making the PUG run away in a larger angle. I tried giving an obstacle node to the player. Ended up creating the specified escape points. Specified escape points worked, and I made it so that he's only going to choose one escape point each time rather than continually running to the newest point that's farthest from you. And I have a little video explaining all of this, so here you go. Okay, so this is going to be like the 4th time I recorded this, so hopefully we can keep it concise. But I'm going to be explaining PUG, how the movement worked and all that kind of stuff. So our little aid today is going to be our boy Piccolo. Come on, focus. Focus on Piccolo. Please. Here we go. It's our aid today is going to be Piccolo. And I'm just going to explain how I have this thing working. So, at the start, the PUG would escape in one direction and basically only go in one little spot. So if you look here, this is you shoot the PUG. It will come up here to like this square and kind of run around in circles for a little bit and then go away, which you could see the whole time, and I didn't really like how that worked. I thought that was stupid. So I wanted to change how PUG worked, how the game was going to be deciding where the PUG goes. So I'll show you the things I tried, because I tried like 4 things. So look here. I initially wanted to have it so that the PUG would kind of go in a donut around the player. So let me show you. Where this area where the player was, where it's all white and not like filled in at all, he would avoid that and go around in this general area, pretty much anywhere on the map really, not just in specifically a donut, but you get the idea, right? But that wasn't really working because the way the math was working out, it just wasn't good. He would really only go to like a few corners, but there would be certain spots that were just dead zones, which I didn't like, and I didn't want to do that. Here, I'll even erase it and show you. Okay, so this is how it would be. He would escape to one of these options, but he wouldn't be able to pathfind in these spots, which kind of threw everything. I didn't like that, so didn't end up going with it. Just because I'm sure I could figure out how to get the donut working, but the math was just crazy and I did not want to deal with that. So I didn't, and I did something else. So I found something in Godot called like a navigation obstacle, where it was meant to work with the nav mesh node inside of Godot, and the character would basically see this thing, this traffic cone I drew, and avoid it, go outside of it. So I thought it would be cool if I would put that on the player character and have it so it expands, grows, and then the PUG would avoid it. But what ended up happening is the PUG would get caught in it, and it would just keep staying inside, and I don't know why. I would tell you exactly how that worked, but I have no clue. So that didn't work. And so I came to my final idea, which I'll show in a second. But here's what actually ended up being used in the final game. If you look at this, basically what I did was I made it so that there's a set number of points around the PUG that he can escape to. I can place them anywhere on the map I want. They're invisible. You might be able to see them in some of the gameplay footage, but that's just because I kept them visible for now for testing purposes. But what will happen is if players standing at this one right here and they shoot the PUG, he'll find the farthest one and go to it. Or, you know, as so on and so forth. One issue I found initially was that you would shoot him, he would go to this one, and then you could move and he would move too. That might not be an issue, but I ended up fixing it so that he just finds one point to go to and escapes to it, because it's far enough away that he might not even make it to it anyways. Another issue is that if the map is shaped in an odd way, there's certain points that will just never be used. He'll never go to them. So I want to be able to fix that somehow, but I'm not certain that it'll actually be an issue. But that's how I ended up figuring out the PUG navigation. And now this is something that took me like legit like weeks. Not weeks, days. But it was a pain in the butt, essentially. So got it done. Very glad I did. And thanks for watching.
But since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you.
To quote my dear kitten, I mean daddy, I mean homeboy, Ross, it's starting to look like an actual game now. I'm glad that it is too, because I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling much like a hack slash geek slash loser slash weenie slash YouTube game developer for a little while there. It was not good. It was not good, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So real quick, let's finish up thoughts on burnout. I realize I need to have a balance of like rewarding myself with things I'm good at doing so that developing PUG actually feels like a fun thing I'm doing as a hobby rather than an obligation. And also, so I feel like I'm making progress. Am I good at 3D? No. Will I be good? No. But I can pass at least. So big ups for Papa Buh. Everybody comment in the comment section. Buh is Ultra Game Developer Professional. LOL, make sure it's capital LOL. And also, please stop leaving hate comments, because I don't really know what I did to deserve that. So, let's talk about the future of PUG. It's time to really start thinking about two things, story and visuals. Now, I know that you members of the club are probably thinking, Buzz/Quinn, you think that people spend way too much time thinking about stories for games. You're such a massive hater, and now you're talking about the story for your own game. You are a hack and a hypocrite. And to that I'd say, alright, whatever. Still gonna do it anyways. So, I want the story to have big themes of the danger of stagnancy, specifically in reference to the PUG and how it's going to be this dog that's so inbred it started absorbing other dogs. And I've been thinking about how I can portray that idea, something being so inbred it starts cannibalizing itself. And hey presto, thought of it, analog horror. Now if you don't know what analog horror is, look it up. But in short, it's basically horror series that are presented via an analog format, like videotapes, etc. It's meant to invoke nostalgia and fear through that nostalgia, like the feeling of watching some off-putting local broadcast at 2 a.m. Look into series like Local 58, Greylock, Vita Carnis, and Hawktua Analog Horror to familiarize yourself. They're all very iconic examples of the genre, and I definitely am not the creator of one of them. Anyways, it's a fun genre. It's been having issues of repetitiveness, though. They all kind of present themselves in a couple ways, like emergency broadcasts, TV hijackings, etc. They tend to love the Germa sus face, and the villains are nearly always humanoids or thing that is pretending to be human, which both are meant to play into the uncanny valley, and I don't think that's that big of a deal, and I'm certain good things could come from that sort of thing. Problem is that it's clear that most of the inspirations for a lot of these smaller series are other analog horror series, which has led to a lot of stagnancy and a ton of people thinking it's stupid mustard poop baby stuff. I like analog horror though, but I won't lie, it's not beating the cannibalism accusations. So I'm going to try and incorporate visual elements from the medium into PUG in some way. I'm going to put a VHS filter on my game. No, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid, and it always pisses me off when there's a VHS filter on games. Stop doing that, people. It makes your games look bad. I hate to say it. Also, I'm definitely adding this stuff in because it's trendy too, to be honest. You have to be a little soulless to make the sales sometimes, guys. I'm not gonna lie though, this is 99% passion, so please don't hate. Another thing that I think, okay, and this is just a personal take, but something I think is getting a little inbred, cannibalizing is PSX games, or games that look like PlayStation 1 games, basically. Especially nowadays, it's been a trendy thing to do for game developers. I like it. I think it looks cool. I like a lot of the games that come out of the haunted PS1 demo discs and stuff. And I'm also, not good at modeling. So it makes it a lot easier for me to choose to make it in the PSX style, because that's gonna be a little more my speed, guys. It's gonna be a little more my speed there. Plus, it also fits the analog horror trappings quite a lot more, because guess what? Same time period. Anyways, I hope you guys don't think I'm super cynical, or a hack, or a goofball, or a freak, or a monster, or some sort of foolish individual. I am just scared of being directly genuine about my passion for analog horror and PlayStation style games on the internet. Because what if people think it's lame? What if people think I'm lame for liking this stuff? Next devlog though, I'm hopefully gonna have a lot more done for like the lore of PUG. And I also do have a video in the works that's not a devlog, so keep an eye out for that. Bye!